This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I am one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
Tom, I'm pumped up.
Are you pumped up for the new Zelda game? Is that why?
Let's say yes.
Okay, it is the episode on Zelda, so yeah, you should say yes.
Are you pumped up for the new Zelda game?
I am pumped up for the new Zelda game.
Are we getting right into the topic this week?
No. I'm just saying we can still have a little chit-chat. It's fine.
Can I tell you my thing with video games?
Okay.
I think they're a waste of time.
Are you a parent from the 80s?
No, Tom, you know me.
Mm-hmm.
I waste a lot of time. I waste
Right.
most of my time. Left to my own devices, if somebody isn't like...
Left to your own devices like a phone, Nintendo Switch, iPad.
If someone isn't yelling at me in the moment, I'm not like focused on doing
You're not
anything.
doing anything.
Yeah, I'm mostly just zoning out.
Yeah.
But when I'm playing a video game, I'm very conscious of like, my life is ticking away. I have precious days, weeks, months, hours on this earth, and here I am, making a little guy move across, dodge barrels on a screen.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they've gotten past that stage in video games now.
What are you talking about?
They're a lot more involved.
Yeah,
It's
more
not
barrels, more platforms to jump on.
Yeah, I understand. Technology's come a long way. They can put as many barrels as they want in there now.
A bigger monkey at top, throwing them down.
They haven't figured that part out yet. Come on.
They're working on it.
They're working on it day and night. It's a very dangerous thing to figure out.
No, Tom,
Mm-hmm.
look, I'm probably the only person on Earth who's trying to like force himself to get into video games.
Uh-huh.
It's like
I'm sure there's some like divorced dads out there doing the same.
It's just like
all right, Fortnite. All right, let's see how this works. Adjusting your glasses.
I'm not doing it to like be young or connect.
Uh-huh.
I just hear such good things about video games.
Yeah, it's true.
These days it's come a long way from when the monkey throws the barrels at the man.
Yeah.
And I bought games with money, with real money, and I bought a game system that I haven't turned on since. I thought Animal Crossing was gonna, save everybody's sanity 3 years ago.
Well, maybe it did, Tim. I mean, we all came out of the pandemic much more sane.
Can I tell you something about Animal Crossing, Tom?
What's that?
Yeah, I started remember when we were like, oh no, what are we gonna do? Like, we can't interact with people. And we're like, ooh, through this virtual world, I'll be a raccoon.
Yeah,
that
it
interacts
almost seemed like Nintendo was behind everything because it came out, I think, like a month after like lockdown started, and it's like, I have no social life. I can't do anything. I can't go out. I can't hang out with my friends. And Nintendo's like, what if we told you for $60 you can have a bunch of animals as your friends?
Yeah. And I bought into it, and I did it.
Yeah,
and
bought into it.
What?
Like it's a pyramid scheme.
No, I bought into the whole...
You bought the game.
I bought the game, but I also bought into the narrative that, like, this will be a suitable replacement for your real life.
Right.
And then I played it for hours, I guess, and
You're
I never understood...
This guy's just like my friend Tom. He talks like this.
That's all I hear when you talk.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still to this day don't know what I was supposed to be doing in that game.
Well, I mean, Animal Crossing is an interesting example because that truly is a game where, as far as maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think there really is like an end goal. Like, I don't think you can beat that game.
Right. I don't look. Actually, no. When I'm playing a video game, I think I do need that. Like, here are the goals. I need to achieve these things. Otherwise, if it's just like, oh no,
just come hang out.
Just come hang out. I can do that. It was like when people got really good at Rock Band and like Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
And like would spend a lot of time on that. And I was like, why don't we just spend time practicing real guitar?
Yeah.
And then you could like really know how to play guitar at the end of it.
Right.
And it's just like, I'm going to spend all my time in Animal Crossing collecting raccoon coins or whatever. Why don't I collect human coins in the real world? and retire in 5 years.
But I think, like something like Rock Band and real instruments, even spending an absurd amount of time practicing Rock Band and Guitar Hero, that same amount of time put into actual guitar is still not going to like yield enough results for most people, I think.
Enough results for what?
Like if you spend
have a skill?
Yeah, but you could be one
of your Gladwell 10,000 hours thing.
I'm saying if you spend 1,000 hours either learning guitar or learning Guitar Hero, at the end, you're probably going to be one of the best Guitar Hero players in the world.
Right.
But you're just going to be another guitar player playing in a cover band at a bar.
Yeah, but that sounds fun.
So does Rock Band and Guitar Hero.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think we had Guitar Hero. We played it a lot.
Yeah.
I think I was mad because I wasn't good at Guitar Hero. But I was better at guitar, the real guitar, than everybody I was playing against.
So that was it. That was just
go into my room, come out with a guitar, and be like, "All right,
all right, hey guys, why don't you listen to me play this instead?"
Yeah.
Play
Santeria.
Well, I also
everybody.
remember I had Rock Band, and you and Paul broke the drums because you were playing them like they were real drums.
Yeah, well, we're drummers.
Well, these are toy drums.
You can't ask drummers not to drum.
I asked you just not to hit it so damn hard.
Yeah, well, you can't ask me to not hit things so damn hard.
Those things are really built like shit, too.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they were just very plasticky. Because I remember, like, the bass drum, the pedal broke because it was just plastic, and I had to, like, get a new one that was metal. And, I mean, to your point...
You spent a lot on
Yeah,
this
to your
equipment.
point, that is when it's like, why am I buying a new... pedal for fake drums? Why don't I buy some real drums if I'm gonna do this?
Yeah,
but I'll tell you what, that new pedal
You'd
is
be a
pretty
regular
good.
John Bonham by now. Tom.
Yeah,
17 years later,
the dead at the bottom of a pool. He's the one who died in the pool, right?
They all died in the pool, I think. No, that was Brian Jones, right?
Oh yeah, maybe that's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, John Bonham died another way. How did John Bonham die? Is that something you could ask Siri?
Probably not. I mean, you can ask Siri anything, but I don't know if Siri will come back. Probably like drugs, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be my guess.
John Bonham, early years, death.
That's in his early years. I guess he was pretty young when he died.
Very young.
Drug overdose, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Vomited and choked.
Yeah. That happened a lot back then.
Pulmonary aspiration.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah. Not a good way to go. Anyway, video games. I'm with you. I do feel very very guilty when I play games too much. And I try not to because I think
You're like, I should be at church.
I should be saying prayers. I should be memorizing.
I'm not doing this when I can be reciting the rosary.
Yeah. No, and I've tried to like get myself out of that. I mean, of course, people do have problems with game addiction. People do play games too much, like take over their lives. And that's a separate thing. And you hear about like people that you wouldn't think
Queen Elizabeth
getting addicted to games. But I think sometimes just certain games hit certain people the right way. I found out about this recently, which I didn't know, but it makes sense, that there's like a decent chunk of gamers that their thing is they really just play one game for like years.
Really?
Yeah.
Donkey Kong?
No, more complicated games. Donkey Kong Jr. No,
I would think that'd be less complicated.
Yeah, you're right. I take it all back. No, I think it happens a lot with like online games, like what do they call them? Like games as a service, live service games. That's what I'm thinking of. So,
LSGs?
Yeah. So games like Destiny, you know Destiny.
I know Destiny turns on the radio.
I don't even know what that is.
I think it's a movie from the 80s.
All
I want to say it might be like Jim Belushi or something.
But people just get into a game like that. And to be fair, it's like there's always new content coming out online. There's always new levels and new power-ups and all this stuff. And like you could spend a ton of money in there, but it's geared to like not be super predatory. You know, it's geared more towards like we want people playing this game, we want them to spend like $50 a year.
Right.
But we're not just trying to get whales. But people will play those games for like thousands of hours and just get super into them. I don't know if I should dox, but a friend of ours, a friend of the show that I like recently became friends with on the Switch, I saw how much they play certain games. I was like, oh my God.
Really?
Yeah. Lots and lots of time.
Conversation with you.
Yeah.
About maybe staging an intervention for this person.
Maybe. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? They're probably like could beat the hell out of me at some of these games.
So you became friends with somebody on the Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
And what does that entail?
What do you mean? What is like what's the social obligation?
Well, what's the obligation? What's the selling point? Like, are you and I friends on the Switch?
I think we
might
are.
Be.
Yeah.
Does that mean we can play games against each other?
Yeah, that means we can play games against each other. But it also means like.
Also, I've been subscribed to Switch Online or something.
I think it is, yeah.
Since 2019, I guess, when I bought the Switch. Maybe before that.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever used it. And I, a couple times, have tried to figure out how to cancel it, and I don't know how to cancel it.
Luckily, it's relatively inexpensive. I think it's $20 a year.
Yeah, but it's still.
I think it's $20 a week. It's not bad. I had to cancel something. I had to cancel Apple Care on my iPhone this week, and they made me call to do it. And I was actually like kind of surprised that I didn't get a hard sell on it.
Why would you cancel?
Because I'm a big boy. I'm not going to break my phone.
Do I need Apple Care on my new computer?
I don't think so.
No.
Just be a big boy and don't break it.
I'm a big boy, Tom.
Yeah.
I tell you every day I'm a big boy.
Right. I mean, also, like, if you have, like...
I'm a good man.
I'm
a capable man.
I also, like, if you have, like, renter's insurance or homeowner's insurance, like, something like a computer, it's like, they'll cover a computer. You might have to pay a few $100 deductible or whatever.
Yeah, I don't care about that. I'm made of
I don't care. I'll buy a new computer if I need one.
I impulsively bought this computer. You know this, right, Tom?
Yeah. Tim got a new computer.
Like $1,600.
It wasn't that impulsive. You had asked me about it a few weeks before. You knew it was like an impulse when you finally did it. You didn't plan to buy it.
I was supposed to go on vacation, and then there was a sickness, and we didn't go on vacation in the family.
Right.
My son got a fever. I mean, we couldn't go on the plane.
Yeah, I was going to say, why are you being so cagey about it?
And then I was sitting around moping, and I was like, I can't believe I'm not on vacation. I'm going to go to the Apple store and buy a computer. Yeah. And I was like, honey, I'm going out.
Give me the credit card. We talked.
Honey, lend me $1,600.
I'm going to close the window. We're trying to record a podcast in here. Unbelievable. Okay. You told me you were going to buy that computer before you bought it. So there you go. That's enough forethought. Oh, but we were talking about after you bought the computer. I feel like the shitty thing, I think we grew up when we were kids. Like, I remember anytime a friend got a new computer, it was like, oh, did you hear? The so-and-so family just got a new computer.
Compact Presario.
They just got a compact Presario. Or God forbid, they got a Dell.
Then the dudes would be coming out. Right?
I saw that big cow box outside their house.
Yeah.
And everybody would go over, And it was always like, look at what this new thing can do. It's got a CD-ROM drive. Oh, my God.
It plays the Weezer video.
It has Encyclopedia Encarta. I can't believe it. We're going to spend so much time looking at the encyclopedia now.
Matthew Perry's showing me how to use the OS.
Or it would have like a new modem that was way faster, because even when computers were new when we were kids, I feel like we still knew, like, this sucks. This thing really sucks. Yeah, I know this is like, it costs like $2,000 and is twice as fast as anything I've ever seen. But this still sucks. Like, this still is not what I would want my experience to be, especially when we were like teenagers going online and everything was just so dog shit slow.
I remember I was hanging out at a friend's house, and his older brother was like a computer guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, hey, you guys like the internet? Or he's like, Tim, you like the internet? I was like, yeah. He's like, do you know about BBS? Like, what is that? The like,
bulletin board systems.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, that sounds boring. He's like, no, it's really cool. Let me show you.
It's big boob sluts.
It was the most boring thing I've ever seen in my whole life. He was trying to convince me it was cool. It's like, that's okay, man. I don't have to think it's cool.
Have you ever seen a ham radio, though? Look, I get it. Like, I was on bulletin board systems when I was a kid, but I never showed it off to anyone.
And he wasn't showing it off like, I'm cool for this. Like, it was very nice. He's like, I think you'll like this. This is actually really cool.
That's an insult.
Yeah, I think deep down, I was like, what are you trying to imply,
you're
sir?
An indoor kid. I think you'll like this. You have trouble socializing. Look, you can do it without being face-to-face with people. But I feel like when you got your computer and I got a new computer a few years ago, and like the new computers are fantastic. They're like so much faster.
Pretty much the same
the
as
battery
all the other computers I've had
well,
since 2009.
But listen, I'm getting there. I'm saying like they're way faster.
I'm getting there. Just let me talk for 25 more minutes.
What I'm saying is they're faster. The batteries last a bit longer. The screens are better. But then when you do it, it's like, well, there's nothing this one can do that my old one couldn't.
Still going to like NewYorkTimes.com.
Yeah, it's like I'm still just gonna like load up Chrome on here, and it's like, oh, look at that, it's a little bit faster.
Some of us are loading up Firefox.
Wow, what an independent-minded person. Anyway, we're talking about video games.
Or I'm booting up IMDb.com to look up Destiny Turns on the Radio.
Wow.
And I was right. Jim Belushi.
Yeah. And I mean, your old computer, you wouldn't have been able to even do that, I think.
Nancy Travis. She was a real 90s lady, huh?
I don't think I remember her.
She was in stuff.
Okay. I mean, the thing is, like, a lot of women that were in movies in the 90s, it was like, well, you're 30 now. Yeah. You're retired.
Or like, Harvey Weinstein killed her career.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we're not.
So I married an axe murderer.
Was she the
Harriet? Sweet Harriet.
Oh, that was her?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Tim, we're talking about Zelda this week, though. We're not talking about So I Married an Axe Murderer or even Destiny Turns on the Radio.
The Legend of Zelda, Tom?
The Legend of Zelda. I forgot I was going to do this whole bit.
Let's do the bit.
I was going to do a whole bit about how people were so mad about the way we said Mario instead of Mario. Mm-hmm. I was going to say, I hope that we can avoid that when we talk about The Legend of Zelda. But it's too late now. We can't redo the whole episode. Tim, what do you know about The Legend of Zelda? Not the actual legend, the game. All right,
there's a game.
Uh-huh.
There's a guy, Link.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, you're like, okay, let me boot this up and...
okay, I guess I'm Zelda here.
Turns out, no, you're this guy, Link.
Yeah.
He dresses like Peter Pan, and then you gotta like solve riddles or puzzles or something.
Yeah, a lot of puzzles.
And then there's like lore.
A lot of lore.
This never appealed to me.
Yeah.
The thing that appealed to me was The Legend of Zelda 2.
Okay.
The Adventures of Link.
The Adventures of Link. Because you were like, finally, the guy's name is in the title.
Exactly. I know who I'm playing. And also, this might have been the case for the other Zelda games, the cartridge was golden.
Yeah, I know at least the first Zelda, the cartridge was gold.
Well, I got news for you. We had Adventure of Link at my house.
Also gold.
A golden cartridge.
Yeah. You know what?
I felt like Charlie Bucket himself when I opened that package on Christmas morning.
I mean, I remember like the friend of mine that had a Nintendo when I was like real little.
Mm-hmm. Me?
Not you.
Well, I had one at the time.
He had a decent amount of games. I think it was like mostly his dad's NES. Yeah, because it was in his parents' room. Because that's what I remember always being mad. Like, why aren't we playing Nintendo right now? And it'd be like, my parents said we can't go in there. They're making love.
Cool parents, huh?
What? Not letting? I mean,
having a video game system in their room.
Yeah, like it was probably like the mid '80s.
Yeah. Yeah, because they were 26.
Yeah, probably. They were half our age right now. But I remember he had the first Legend of Zelda, and we would occasionally put that in, but we were like too little to really know how to play it.
It was too, like, look, you're a kid, you got Super Mario Brothers.
Right, yeah.
Where you're jumping on Koopa Troopas and bouncing all around, and the music's fun, and well, the music in Link is fun. But then you put Zelda on, and it's just like, it's all boxy and weird, and it's like you're looking at things from like the top down.
Yeah, and you have to like kind of keep track of where you are.
Yeah,
it's not just okay. I start at the left and I keep going right until.
Tom, is this an RPG?
Yes. Yeah.
A role-playing game.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than like a traditional role-playing game because it doesn't.
And I'm not talking about your friend's parents' bedroom antics.
Right. There was a lot of role playing in there too.
Yeah.
I don't think so. They got divorced. There was an affair going on.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was like these were friends of my parents.
Okay. Who did your parents wind up choosing? The one committing the infidelity or the victim of the infidelity?
I think by this,
or was it a double infidelity?
No,
situation?
it was,
or was it a Pina Colada song situation?
No, it was not that they thought they were going to cheat on each other, but it turned out they had answered each other's ad in the paper. It was not one of those situations. Okay. That happens more infrequently than you would think.
More frequently?
No, infrequently.
No. Oh, really? Well, then why does the song resonate with so many people?
Also,
if not, hey, yeah, that happened to me. I can relate.
Also,
that's how people like songs, right?
I love the idea of like somebody putting a classified ad in to have an affair, and somebody else just being like, "Life's kind of boring. Let me see if anybody's looking to have an affair in the classified ad."
Well, it was a class ad. It was a personal ad.
That's in the classifieds.
Well, people were looking for love in the personal ad, which is insane.
Yeah,
they didn't even let you put a picture.
No, they would just like have you, and I think that's
why. Hey, I'm handsome. Call me.
Yeah, and you were charged by the letter.
Yeah, I would just write, I am handsome, and then put my phone number. See what I got.
And if you had a little extra dough lying around, babes only.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think that's why like online dating had such a stigma for a while because of like personals and classifieds. Yeah. Like there just wasn't a good system.
Take it out of the realm of class. It's not like a garage sale.
It was in the classifieds.
Like the Pina Colada guy's ad was between two garage sales.
No, but it was in the same section in the newspaper. It was just like, I don't know. I think personals were at the end. It was like real estate, help wanted, personals.
I mean, that's a good lineup. It's what you need in life, right? You need a
place to live, a shelter.
Mm-hmm.
A job,
need some income, and you need
love.
You know what? I was wrong. Turns out, all you need is love.
Yeah, you're gonna need to throw the rest of the classifieds out. How did we get on to talk? Oh, because I was telling you about my friend's parents, my family friends, my parents' friends.
Yeah,
and Well, somebody was.
They were cool. They had a Nintendo in their room. They cheated on each other.
Well, just as far as I know, just one of them cheated on the other one, but cheated on him with somebody else in the friend group.
Ooh.
Yeah, like another friend.
Who was also married?
Yes.
Whew.
And it was found out through picking up like a phone while, spicy talk was going on.
What the heck? You did that when the...
How else did you have an affair like in the 90s?
Yeah.
You know? People didn't have cell phones yet. They didn't have 2 lines. I mean, it would be suspicious if all of a sudden it was like, I think we need another line that only I have access to.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see in movies from like the 70s, like the phone will ring.
Yeah.
And then no one will be on the line, and then the husband will just get really mad and be like, well, my wife is having an affair.
I know
obviously.
what this means. Yeah, and that's why.
And 9 times out of 10, this guy was right.
Yeah. Yeah, they rarely put that in movies unless it turns out to be a plot point. But anyway, he had
just a phone ringing and like a wrong number.
Well, my wife's having an affair. So yeah, he had Zelda. I played Zelda, but didn't really know how to play it. I was reading about, though, you mentioned that he looks like Peter Pan.
Yeah.
He was inspired by Peter Pan, especially the pointed ears. Now,
Wait, Peter Pan had pointed ears?
The Disney one did. And now here's the thing. In Zelda's like an elf-type species. Or not Zelda and Link.
Yeah.
They're
you
both
play as
like
Link,
Hyrulean.
the hero.
And it's like, they're kind of elf-like. But Peter Pan in the Disney Peter Pan, there was never an explanation why he had elf ears.
I don't remember him having
he had elf ears.
Let me get a picture up.
I mean, you're going to look up a picture. It's going to be Peter Pan with elf ears.
Okay. I accidentally typed Peter Man. Let's see what this guy
I feel like before an episode, Tim, I need to just give you a list of like, here's things I'm going to bring up that you might want to Google beforehand.
I don't see the... Oh, yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course I'm right. I looked it up myself.
Wow. I'm just not in the business of taking your word for things. So I've been burned too many times in the past.
But it got me thinking about how often, because we just did an episode about Mario, how often Nintendo just kind of like ripped shit off in the early days.
Yeah, like...
Donkey Kong was King Kong. And
right.
they were like, but to not get sued, we'll make him Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
And then they got sued anyway.
Did they?
Yeah, they got sued. I think Nintendo, either Nintendo won or they worked something out, obviously, because Donkey Kong still exists. I think they maybe had to like change a few things that were like even closer to being like King Kong. But in this, it was like, yeah, let's make him look like...
he no longer came from Kong Island?
He came from Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
Kong Country. But Zelda, I remember as a kid thinking, like, is this Peter Pan? Like, is this a different name for Peter? And I always thought all these, like, you're creating brand confusion with our trademark, blah, blah, blah. I always thought all that stuff is bullshit. But then I think about when I was a kid and how often I was confused about how things were related.
We were all confused about everything.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, I think
I don't think an argument should be made like, oh, you confused kids. Kids are confused. They're not smart.
Yeah, you should be able to trick them to sell them products.
I mean, they can't buy them. They then have to convince the parents. And
true.
The parents are going to know, this guy Link, he's no Peter Pan. Peter Pan doesn't have pointed ears. And it's the 80s, so they can't look it up on the internet.
I think a normal...
And the movie was probably in the Disney vault, if we're going by the numbers, right? Those were only taken out for, 6 months at a time?
Yeah, we had Peter Pan on VHS, so I think it was possible that somebody, at least my parents, could have gone home and looked at the Peter Pan VHS tape and been like, this is bullshit.
Right. Well, we didn't.
I'm sure parents were like, I guess this is like a Peter Pan game, whatever. Tim,
hey, knock yourselves out.
Zelda
and then they go, a golden cartridge? What did we pay for this thing?
let's
the receipt.
Smelt it.
Yeah.
And just sell the gold. Tim, Zelda, Link, all those characters, like the first game, once again, Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Mario.
Yeah.
He's not involved in later games, but he was very involved in the creation of it. And in fact, from I got this from the internet. From an early age, Miyamoto explored the natural areas around his home. He discovered a cave, and after days of hesitation, got a lantern and went inside. His expeditions into the Kyoto countryside inspired his later work, particularly The Legend of Zelda. So if he hadn't found that cave, and then much later in life was like, I should make a game out of this. How come no Americans have made a game about finding pornography in the woods?
Well, now's our chance.
Yeah. Then I can be like, oh, actually, it harkens back to my childhood when I would often find pornography. Not as often as you would want, but often enough.
This doesn't happen anymore, huh? Like, I think, kids finding old nudie mags in the woods.
You could go put a bunch of nudie mags in the woods, and kids aren't going to go to the woods to even find them. That's
kids
probably the safest place to keep them. Kids just don't
go in the woods.
No, of course not.
Kids don't explore caves with lanterns anymore either.
No, that sounds
kids
so much.
Kids have too soft.
Yeah, start sending kids into caves again.
Give them a lantern.
Yeah,
help them light it. That's going to be
put a box of old waterlogged pornography at the back of the cave. They give them a nice reward. Tim, I've got some other Zelda trivia for you before we get into the Switch games. I think.
Okay, The Legend of Zelda is a series of video games. Did we mention that?
I don't know if we mentioned that, but it's true.
Okay.
If you've heard otherwise, that person's lying to you.
Yeah, or they're misinformed themselves.
Tim,
might not be malicious.
There's a game I remember. I think this was the first Zelda game I owned, Link's Awakening for the Game Boy.
Okay.
It was a fun Zelda game. It was inspired by Twin Peaks.
Really? The
director of the game, I don't have his first name.
Games have directors?
His name is Tezuka, suggested we make all the characters suspicious types in the then popular Twin Peaks. Basically, he was like, you know what I like about Twin Peaks? That it's like a small town with like a small cast of characters, but everybody's suspicious.
Everybody is kind of suspicious.
I want to make a Zelda game where everybody's a little bit suspicious in it.
I wouldn't like to live in Twin Peaks.
No, I'd like to go see some of those concerts though at the local.
In the Return.
Yeah, go see the Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. That was cool.
What a weird series that was.
It was. They should make another Zelda game based off Twin Peaks: The Return. You mentioned that the Zelda cartridges were gold.
Mm-hmm.
However, there was a yellow prototype cartridge that sold on eBay for $150,000.
That's not so bad. I would consider that.
It is crazy though to think about, because I
don't understand collecting things. It's like, ooh, it's a rare prototype.
Yeah.
And now I can sell it to somebody else, so they can be like, ooh, it's worth something, and they can sell it to somebody else.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's an interesting piece of history if you're into that kind of history.
I think we can all agree it's not that interesting though, right?
No, I mean to just have I'm
it's
sure
a yellow cartridge. This was a prototype. They were thinking of making it yellow. They didn't.
No, I think it was probably just the prototypes are yellow. I remember when I worked at Apple and I went to Cupertino for training. To
the Baseball Hall of Fame.
You're thinking of Cooperstown, Tim. It's a different place.
All right.
But the training we had to do was a lot of the machines that they had us take apart and put back together were prototype machines because they had red what? What are you laughing at?
You said that like that was a big reveal. And guess what? The aristocrats.
Well, a lot of
there were prototypes.
The logic boards, instead of being green or dark green, they were red. Mm-hmm. And that was just so they could know
don't accidentally sell this to Joe Q Public.
Well,
He's not going to know what to do with it.
I think it was just a way to very visually tell that's a prototype, not a finished product. Right. But I was thinking about how, I took apart and put back together this iMac that like 100 other people had probably done the same. And if I had somehow stolen that iMac, and sold it now, I could probably retire on it.
Right.
So I just think
think now of what you can steal.
I'm always thinking about what I can
15
steal
to 20
now.
Years,
That's why this stuff
is a long game.
That's why this stuff is valuable, because I'm sure this like yellow Zelda cartridge was all beat up and had been like thrown around an office for a year. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh yeah, there were probably 10 of these made. The other 9 broke or got thrown out. And this is one that happened to survive.
Right.
But I'm just thinking, like, if one of those people probably that,
I just think the whole market for these things,
it's
zany.
It's always crazy to me too how some of these things like actually get out, because there's, this stuff's never supposed to actually leave. So I always wonder when like these auctions go up, if somebody like Nintendo is going to step in and be like, that's our company property, we want it back, and maybe they'd be able to do that. I don't know.
Right.
More trivia, Tim. So there's a lot of. So I was like trying to look into like Zelda lore.
What if we made fake prototypes from back then?
People do that shit too.
Yeah,
it's called fraud. But I mean, you can do that.
Who cares? What are they going to get convicted of fraud?
Yes. If you knowingly create a false copy
number one, how are they going to find out? And number 2, what jury in the world would care enough to be like, oh, you defrauded a guy that was going to pay $150,000 for a sack of shit?
I think a lot of juries, if they knew like you had gone to great extent, you can't appeal to a jury by saying, who cares?
This guy's a loser for wanting it.
I mean, it's a unique defense. I don't know if anybody's ever tried it in court. But I also, how would anybody know? Well, I'm expecting you to go home and like paint a Nintendo cartridge yellow and put it up on eBay.
Yeah.
And I think somebody would know then. They would buy it.
Okay, so guess what? I'll take a picture.
Yeah.
And they won't know because I'll, make the angle, right? And once they send me the money, I'll just never send it to them.
That's the perfect crime. I was looking into, about this, that they made an Inspector Gadget figure that revealed Dr. Claw's face.
No, I did not.
Yeah, they made it, and I was like, oh, I'd like to buy that. So I looked it up on eBay. Very expensive. There was one closed box one, and in the description, it was like that, I guess blister pack. That action figures at least used to come in, maybe still come in. In the description it said, I think this blister pack may have been glued back together. Just FYI. It's like, well then take it back apart. I don't know.
It's just telling it like it is. Yeah. You're buying it as is.
Yeah, you can put up a listing like, I think this prototype might just be a regular cartridge.
Some
painted
guy
yellow.
Just painted it yellow.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm just putting it out there.
It's definitely
buyer
real, though,
beware.
Yeah. Did you see Dr. Claw's face?
Yeah, I saw it. Tim
what
and
does
I
it look like?
It just kind of looks like a mad scientist.
No.
It's a little bit disappointing, to be honest.
I mean, what could it be that would be? Like, unless it was like, oh, that
well, some people thought it was that he looked just like Inspector Gadget. That it either was Inspector Gadget or was like Inspector Gadget's twin brother. That was why they were keeping it a secret.
Who was keeping it a secret? The producers of the show? They didn't want you to know?
I mean, they didn't.
Family
they
strife.
Never showed it in the show.
Yeah, but not to protect you from the fact that they were
to keep you guessing until the big reveal.
There was no reveal.
There was. They put out an action figure and showed what his face looked like.
They revealed it in the real world.
Yeah.
It's just a guy.
And guess what? When you the box for the action figure, there's like a sticker over his face, and it says like, for the first time ever, like revealed what Dr. Claw looks like.
That's smart marketing.
That's how they get your money.
Yeah.
If I had seen that in the store, I would have bought it. I would have, $5 to find out what Dr. Claw finally looks like.
Yeah. And then you'd be like, oh, he looks like a guy.
He looks like a guy. All right.
Same thing I always say. Like once they definitively say who the Zodiac killer was,
yeah,
they'll be like, all right.
Unless it was John F. Kennedy, I'm not gonna care. But I found this out because when I was researching this, I fell down a rabbit hole looking at the Link Adventures of Zelda cartoon that was part of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, and that show actually had not Don Adams, but a different voice actor for Inspector Gadget appear as a live-action Inspector Gadget on the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Wait, there was a Gadget Mario Brothers crossover?
Yeah.
Wow.
They also one time had Captain Lou Albano appear on the show.
I mean, he was always on.
No, as Captain Lou.
As Captain Lou, not as Mario.
But it was funny. The Wikipedia article was like, they didn't use trick photography. Instead, Mario exited the room before Captain Lou came out and then re-entered the room after Captain Lou left.
And they didn't even stop tape. He was gone for 12 minutes while he changed costumes.
But that's how I fell down the rabbit hole and found out about this whole Inspector Gadget
All right,
thing.
we're talking about the games.
The game. Well, let me tell you some other things, Tim. Oh, I was talking about the lore being all wacky all over the place. According to some versions of the lore in the timeline, the first Zelda game, The Legend of Zelda, is actually chronologically the last story in the scheme of things.
See, all of this. So it's just like a series of prequels?
Yeah, but they kind of go all over the
question.
What?
Has a prequel ever been good?
The Star Wars prequels.
Besides that.
Rogue One was good. That was a prequel.
All right.
Star Wars. But yeah, prequels often aren't good because they're
I like when prequels are like they wink to things that are gonna happen. They're like, this thing will never happen. And it's like, what this guy doesn't know is that it's gonna happen.
Yeah. He's like, I'll never become Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Well, wait
Turns
and see,
out,
Anakin.
You idiot. But then sometimes there's a red herring.
Yeah.
And like somebody else Jar Jar Binks will say, Misa will never become Darth Vader. And it's like, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't. We already knew that, though. I thought that line was weird in the prequels, to be honest with you. But yeah, but the timeline's like all over the place to the point where if you're a reasonable person, you look at all the Zelda lore, you go, every game, for the most part, forget about everything else. This is just a new story with the same characters.
Can you explain to me the general lore of the Zelda universe? Like, who is Zelda to Link?
So Zelda is the princess, I believe, of Hyrule, which is like kind of like a Middle Earth.
Okay.
So,
already.
Yeah.
100%
Like,
out.
I don't think Hyrule is like a planet or a world. It's like a continent.
Okay.
Zelda is
It's a state of mind.
Yeah, no, I think it's just a continent. Zelda's the princess. There's this guy. It's very similar to Mario, where there's Ganon, and he's like a bad guy. He wants to take over the kingdom. He's always kidnapping Zelda.
Right.
And Link always has to rescue Zelda. Link purposefully has like very little personality and almost never speaks.
Right.
Because it's supposed to be like a surrogate for the player.
Right.
Which is...
And like you have no personality playing it. So they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
You're their target audience.
I mean, I don't have any personality when I play it. I'm just staring at the screen like, duh. What's going to happen next? But what I didn't know, what I was genuinely shocked to find out, Tim, Zelda and Link, no romantic relationship between them. None.
It's just like chivalrous,
Platonic.
like, yeah.
Just friends. Just they both.
Hey, I don't like that my friend was kidnapped. I'm going to go. I'm going to go.
And like, I know my friend stands for good and the guy who kidnapped her stands for evil.
Does Link have a whole other significant other that he's
I
just
don't think so. I think he's an incel. Yeah.
Involuntarily?
Yeah, I think he's
Does he go to Zelda and he's like, come on, I'm a nice guy.
I'm a nice guy. I saved you. Don't you? You owe me. Come on, at least a little something.
Why did I even do this?
Yeah.
I do this all the time. I save you all the time.
Yeah. But I was shocked. I thought for sure it was, like Mario and the princess, where it's like, I don't know if they're like really together, but like he saves her and he gets a kiss out of it.
Yeah.
That's what's in it for him.
Yeah. He's such a freaking loser. He's like, oh, the kiss made it worth it.
The kiss was enough. Am I imagining that? Do they kiss in the game?
I've never beaten a Mario game.
Or am I just is that just wishful thinking?
Yeah.
Have I written that in? Is that my own headcanon?
I wonder if they kiss in the movie.
There isn't a Zelda movie.
No.
The Mario movie?
And Peach.
Yeah, I guess you'll have to go to the theater to find out.
Yeah, I'll never do that.
Well, wait till it comes out on home box office. It's not going to come to HBO. Maybe it will. I don't know who put it out. Universal?
One of them.
Yeah, one of the big studios did, not theaters. Tim?
Who did Minions? It's that...
yeah, it's the same.
DreamWorks?
Maybe.
Is DreamWorks still a thing?
I'm not sure.
Did Steven Spielberg make this picture? You know what I don't like?
What's that?
People who aren't in Hollywood who call movies pictures.
Didn't you just do that?
Yeah, but I did it to be a big shot.
Tim, do you know where the name Zelda came from?
I wish I could say yes, Tom.
Well, after I tell you, you will be able to say yes.
It's a literal wish come true.
Named after F. Scott Fitzgerald's wife. Zelda Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
It was just basically they liked the sound of the name and they were like, let's make it Zelda.
Did you read that book? The
Great Gatsby? We read it for Books the Podcast.
No, that book.
Zelda?
Yeah, wasn't there
strategy
like a
guide?
book called like Z or something? Yeah. Z?
Z? No. Is that about Zelda?
Yeah, but Fitzgerald.
Oh, boring. I want to learn more about...
You don't like the Roaring 20s?
I guess I kind of do. Well, I'm watching Perry Mason right now.
Is that about the Roaring 20s?
It's about the 30s. It's about the depressing 30s. But it happens right after the Roaring 20s.
I know.
Still some vestiges. You know what's good about this show, Perry Mason, by the way?
What's that?
It takes place in I think it's 1932, 33 in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And Los Angeles.
Is it the Los Angeles of Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Kind of. But it's a fascinating time in Los Angeles because basically a city just kind of sprung out of nowhere and rapidly grew.
Uh-huh.
But I realized in watching it, and it's an HBO show, so they do an amazing job with the set design and the costumes and everything. Everything looks period accurate. I don't know. I was watching an episode the other night and he goes home and he's got this,
what else I heard was, never mind.
He's got this wacky ice box that I was trying to figure out how it even worked. But I'm like, man, they either had to make that or source a nearly 100-year-old ice box that looks brand new. Either way, that's impressive. So there's a lot of stuff like that. But I was thinking we never get to see 1930s LA in a story that has nothing to do with Hollywood.
Right. Well, it was a industry town, Tom.
I know, and there's still some, of course, connections to the industry.
Yeah,
but not a lot. It's not really about that at all.
I just feel like we never see 1930s Hollywood. not in black and white.
Well, Tim, this show's in full color. It's in
You're
high
telling
definition.
Me high definition. How did they do that? The cameras were not that good back then.
They got a bunch of them. They put them all together.
Smart. Smart filmmaking right there.
We might find this next fact interesting as Southpaws, Tim. Link is a lefty. However, he was not in the Wii version of Zelda Twilight Princess because you had to use the Wiimote, and since most people are right-handed, so the game, it was like not a lot, but I guess like the last few couple of Zelda games kind of had this weird thing like Breath of the Wild came out the day the Switch came out, but it was also the last game for the Wii U.
Right.
So it was like kind of
really?
Yeah. So it came out on both systems. And I think it was kind of one of those things where like a lot of times the Zelda games take a lot longer than is expected to make them because,
they're open world.
They're open world and it's just like a big world, a lot of stuff. So I think it was like, this will come out, in the Wii U's heyday. I didn't realize the Wii U was only out for like 4.5 years.
I don't even know what the Wii is.
It was the system after the Wii and before the Switch.
Yeah, I know.
And it was called the Wii U, which was very confusing because it's like, it's a Wii
University.
No, but it was like...
I thought it was something that was like, I'm not a college kid. I wouldn't understand.
Well, a lot of people thought like, there's like an attachment you buy for the Wii or something like that, or just like an upgraded Wii.
Do you think if I enroll in college, people would think I'm cool and young again?
No, they would think you were the professor's father at this point.
They could let me live in the dorms.
No.
Party with all that.
There must be rules about that because like I was an RA for 3 years in college and I never had like an adult just come live in the dorms. And I always thought like, I know people that are older that are, from classes that are undergrads because, they came back or they stopped college for one reason or another and came back. But like there was some strict like, but no, you can't have a 35-year-old man living in the dorms.
But what about a 41-year-old man?
I don't know. That's a good point. I was talking about the Wii U and the Switch. But Twilight Princess was, I think, a similar thing where it came out on the GameCube and the Wii. So the GameCube version was normal, but then the Wii version, they had to flip the whole game horizontally or vertically. Vertically? Yeah. To make Link right-handed because most people would be using the Wiimote in their right hand. I thought that was interesting.
I think that's cool. I'm thinking Twilight Princess. Who are we talking about? Kristen Stewart?
Did you just look her up? I saw you typing over there. You forgot her name.
Yeah.
But also...
You want to hear my other joke from before? When you said that something in Perry Mason was period accurate? I was going to say, you want to know what other production's period accurate? The new film, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Because it's about a period. Yeah, I get it. These are great. You should whip these out. Tim, it's just like my Legend of Zelda joke that unfortunately.
No, I think we're doing great.
Being so timid with our jokes.
I know.
But I think it's interesting that they flip the whole game rather than just Link.
Right.
So like the whole game.
That's probably easier. You press one button, it flips.
It probably is. That's probably why they did it that way. They could probably just put it in the code, like, when you render the game, flip the whole thing.
Flip it, reverse it.
Yeah. I forget the rest of the words. Link has only spoken twice in any of these games. He said, "Come on," in Wind Waker.
Okay.
And "Giddy up" in Twilight Princess.
Twilight Princess. Who are we talking about? Kristen Stewart?
And we'll edit out the other ones, so then people... now let's talk about Breath of the Wild and the new game, Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay.
Now, you own Breath of the Wild,
Yeah,
right?
I played the first few minutes of it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what I walked out of this. It starts in a cave, and it's like, wake up, Link, wake up, Link. And I'm just like, I don't know what's going on here.
You're already confused. It's a guy waking up.
Yeah.
Everybody knows all the best stories start with the main character waking up.
Lost.
Mm-hmm.
Groundhog Day.
Yep. Does it start with him waking up?
No, it starts with him being a jerk. So we got Lost so far. And
I mean, it is like Lost-like.
You're a big Matthew Fox guy, right?
Not a big Matthew Fox
I mean,
guy.
not his acting, but his personal life, right? His behavior.
when in Breath of the Wild, when Link wakes up, it is like a mystery situation where he has like amnesia. He doesn't really know what happened. And I think in the
Twin
game,
Peaksy, if you ask me.
yeah, and I think in the game, and again, like the lore in all these games is so confusing, but I think it's like he had been asleep for like hundreds of years when he wakes up, and he like slowly learns like, oh, you were a guy that used to. I think like a bunch of people are like, you look like a guy who used to be around hundreds of years ago, and then finally he's like, that was me, but he doesn't say it because he doesn't talk.
Right. Yeah. No, we walked around a little bit, me and Link.
I was gonna say, like, for somebody like you that wants goals, the Zelda games maybe aren't great, or the recent ones.
Yeah, like I'm not really looking to like spend time admiring the world.
It's not so much that. I mean, you can do that, of course. Like, they're beautifully designed.
Yeah, and I agree.
Yeah, thank you. But the Breath of the Wild game and this upcoming game, they're both extremely non-linear, where they kind of don't give you any instruction in the beginning. And like Breath of the Wild is famous for that when you first start, you can see like Ganon's castle way off in the distance. And if you want,
famous for that.
If you want, you can just run straight to it and take on the final boss. You'll die, but
not me though.
Well, there are people that are like so good at the game that it's like, no, I picked up a branch and I ran naked as Link all the way to the final boss and was able to beat him. Right. But that's not the way the game's supposed to be played. Right. It's supposed to be you kind of have to figure out what you can do, what you should do.
See, that's too much like life.
Well, I was going to say a big part of the game.
Like, I should spend my time figuring out my own life, not Link's life.
A big part of the game is that you don't necessarily have to do everything, and you don't necessarily have to do a lot of it in order. You can kind of
tell that to my parents.
You can just kind of follow your heart in these games and decide, like, oh, that looks interesting over there. I'm going to go run over that way.
Yeah, but sometimes there's monsters over there.
Yeah, and you can fight those monsters. You can run away from the monsters. You can sneak up on the monsters. Yeah. You can, like, trick the monsters into fighting each other. One of them's looking the other way. You throw a rock at his head. He turns around. He's like, hey, to another monster, and then they start fighting. It's they created kind of like a system of interactions with things, but then kind of leave it up to the player to decide. So like an example is if you're out in a thunderstorm and you have either like a metal shield or a metal sword on your back, you'll start getting like sparks of electricity coming off you that are like warnings, and you can be hit with lightning. So early on you realize like, oh, okay, when there's lightning around, I got to take off the metal stuff.
Right.
But then you realize, hey, wait a minute. Can I like steal a bad guy's wooden sword, leave out my metal sword, go run away? He'll pick up the metal sword. He'll get hit by lightning, and like that works.
Right.
So there's a lot of stuff like that.
You must have felt pretty proud of yourself when you figured that out.
I didn't figure that out. I read about it. But there's a ton of stuff like that, and even stuff like the game designers didn't think of. But they made the world, and I think that's why these games take so long, because they kind of figure out, like, okay, how can these things work together in a way that won't break this entire game? And then we'll leave it up to the players to figure it out.
Right.
And the new game, Tears of the Kingdom, like a big
I think it's Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom. I saw this box in the lobby of my building today. It was like one of these like delivery dog food companies. Mm-hmm. But it said "Long live dogs" on it. And I thought at first, long live dogs. Like my dog? like Doxies? They should be shipping them in boxes.
Long live dogs.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with this.
Long live dogs.
In a box.
In a box.
From what I understand, not a lot of people know. There's not a lot of information out there about Tears of the Kingdom.
Tim, there's a lot of information because guess what? The game leaked.
Oh no!
Yeah, it leaked. I think like 2 weeks early. And so not only can you play it on your Switch if you have like a modified Switch or whatever,
which I do not.
Okay.
I don't have a modified Switch. I play by the rules.
Okay, there it is, folks. Tim doesn't have a modified
can't figure
Switch.
Out how to...
He plays by the rules. Tim can barely figure out how to play a game he bought from a store in it. So
yeah.
He does not have a modified Switch.
Yeah, not only that, I can't figure out how to unsubscribe from it.
If you modify your Switch, I think they might cancel your subscription.
Yeah. Cool.
But a lot of people are also playing the game on their computers through emulators. And the thing is, like, so the Switch now is, I want to say, like 7 years old? Does that sound about right?
2017, I think.
Yeah, does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just looked up when Breath of the Wild came out, and it came out in 2017.
So 7 years old, and like what you have to realize is the Switch is essentially just an Android tablet.
Okay.
Like the guts of it are an Android tablet. So think about like, and it wasn't even that powerful at the time it came out.
Right.
And now it's 7 years on. And think about like a 7-year-old iPhone or a 7-year-old iPad, like how shitty those would work.
Right.
So that's the situation the Switch is in.
But mine works fine, right?
Well, yes, they all work fine. It's just, the reason why an iPhone or like an iPad or an Android phone or whatever that's that old doesn't work well is because the software keeps getting updated for new things.
Right. So
that's the advantage the Switch has. It's like no matter what version of the Switch you have, it has the same guts inside of it. So when they design a game, they've got to make it work on just that one thing. So they can really like squeeze a lot out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But
custom build
for it. But they're really like reaching the limits of that. So if you play this game
the Eagle said, take it to the limit.
The Eagle said, take it easy.
They said they took a lot of things.
The emulators, you can like push the game further. So, when you're playing this Zelda game, I think it plays at like 900p. So not even really full HD.
Right.
But if you have like a powerful computer, you can play this game in 4K. It will scale up. So people have been pirating the game, but then also like playing it on their computer where it's going to look a lot better and play a lot more smoothly.
Huh. Have you done that?
I haven't done that, Tim. I'm a good boy.
You say you're a good boy.
I abide by the law. Tim, you'll never see me in court having to defend selling painted cartridge. telling the jury that the
guy's a loser for wanting it,
and that I'm rightfully stealing from a loser, so it's fine.
You could dupe a loser; that should be legal.
I don't disagree with you, Tim. I think blackmail should be legal.
Yep.
I think it should be legal to extort somebody, and I think you should be able to dupe a loser. If somebody wants something so badly that they don't do their own due diligence, that should be fine.
Or if they want something that's stupid to want.
Now, what if you get duped, though, like buying a used car? And they're like, oh, the guy's a loser for wanting this.
No, I don't think you're a loser for wanting, needing transportation.
But what if it's like a PT Cruiser?
Okay, yeah, then guess what?
Somebody's selling you, like, there's a first edition, it's tricked out.
Yeah, if somebody buys a fake first edition PT Cruiser, sorry, there's
should be allowed to be scammed.
There's no recourse available to you.
If you like the show, you can find out more at tcgt.com. You can check out all of our social media links there. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Reynolds.
Follow me at Your Pal Tim.
And check out our Patreon, patreon.com/complete guide, where we have books and podcasts. We're reading It's Not TV, It's HBO, The Story of HBO. I don't know if that's the subtitle.
No, I think it's not. It's called It's Not TV.
It's HBO.
Well, it's about HBO.
I think it's called It's Not TV, The Story of HBO.
Something like that.
Something like that. It's a
The
great...
Rise and Future.
Yeah, because it's not Rise and Fall, because they haven't fallen yet.
Still standing.
Yeah. Patreon.com /complete guide. You get all these episodes. You get all the back episodes of books and podcasts. If you prefer the Bible or Wuthering Heights instead of hot new media properties.
Or the Papa John story.
There are a whole bunch of good books in there. And The Great Gatsby, mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Patreon.
That was the first one we did, Tom.
Yeah, look at that. Wow. I guess we're not so different from Shigeru Miyamoto. We're also creative geniuses. Patreon.com /complete guide. Tim, are you going to buy Tears of the Kingdom?
I think I would be foolish to before I play Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, it's $10 more than $60. It's $70.
$10 more than $60. That's a good way to think about all money.
Well, the thing is, like, it is kind of crazy that games have been $60 more or less for so long.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were kids, like, there were Super Nintendo games that were $70, and that's
$10 more than $60.
Well, but that's back in '90s dollars.
Yeah.
But basically, like when the PS5 and the new Xboxes came out, they took the opportunity to be like, all right,
standardized.
Yeah, and in fairness, I think they were like, look, you got $500 lying around to buy this game. You got buy this new system hot off the presses. You got an extra. You're going to buy the new game even though we make it $10 more.
Right.
They properly judged that. But Nintendo didn't come out with a new system, but just went, our games are now $10 more too.
Hey.
But again,
by the time I get around to it, I think it'll be cheap. How much is Breath of the Wild?
No, because that's the thing. Nintendo doesn't like cut prices on their games. Yeah. Like the cheapest, I think, Breath of the Wild.
Miyamoto won't cut a deal.
No. He knows what the games are worth. I think like the cheapest you could get Breath of the Wild was probably like $40 maybe on sale at some point.
All right, well that's what I'll buy.
Yeah. And that didn't always used to be the case. Like they used to have like the greatest hits or whatever. They would re-release games cheap.
It's gotten too powerful. We should take Nintendo down a peg.
Well, I mean, they had probably the biggest game of their system come out 2 weeks early, but you can only get it if you steal it. So I think that's probably going to take them down a peg or two.
We have a friend, Tom, who is really into Zelda.
Oh.
He's 5 years old.
Oh, yeah.
And do you remember his Halloween costume?
Yeah, it
and
was
his family's
Link.
Halloween?
Oh, yeah, and they were all like
obscure monsters and villains from there.
And like really good homemade costumes.
Yeah, and like he wasn't like, I was like, oh, this kid's gonna be Link for Halloween. Can't wait to see his green Peter Pan outfit. And it's like, no, it wasn't green because like Link's not wearing green these days or something. Yeah,
he wears blue and
yeah.
I mean, you can get other outfits, but he starts off with like a blue one. Yeah.
So hey, Tom, he's gonna listen to this and be like, why the fuck didn't they talk about any of the stuff I like?
Well, the times they are changing.
What's that mean?
Link's blue now?
Right.
Nintendo's gone woke?
Don't get me started.
All right. We'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.